This is your chance. Alright, there's one for Bo Kid, so let's do it. Alright. We are going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so, like I said, this is hat in time. We're going to start off in the spaceship, which is the hub world. And basically just going to do some dive boosts. We'll get better movement in a little bit, but for now, we gotta just dive. Alright, so first level, welcome to Mafia Town, is in Mafia Town. And basically, we're gonna kind of be going a little out of sync here. If you do this, you get a achievement for skipping a cutscene, I think. So I'm doing this just to get some yarn. This is going to be used to craft some hats in a second. Those being done in cutscenes because you can craft a hat within cutscenes, and it just saves time over having to craft them elsewhere. I grabbed those diamond ball things. They're called pawns, or the main currency of the game. I grabbed those around the well because I need 5 to unlock the next level. So we'll do that. First I need to turn the power on. Also, I should mention that the hat that I crafted is called the Sprint Hat, which lets me sprint, and it's really good. Which makes sense. So this is, She Came From Outer Space. There's a good bit of stuff in this level. Kinda just gonna run through it quickly. We'll get to the end. So I'm gonna jump over this fence, fall into this mud. We'll need this later. And then kinda just move around. So if you watched my run of this, alright, nice. If you watched my run of this last year, you'll know that I got these tickets here and duplicated them with all the stuff that you can do. That's not a thing in this current patch, so there's a completely different route. Ticket duping is no longer a thing, so we can't get that one vault a little easier. But new route kind of accomplishes the same thing. I can just get this. So get 4 yarn there. Dive into this cutscene. Make another hat. This is the brewer hat. This is going to be used a lot throughout the run whenever there's combat required. So I fell into the mud at the beginning just so I could scare this mafia guy, because that's what that does. Just gonna grab the pawns. I need a total of 180 throughout the whole run, but I have a lot of time to get that, so it's not really a big deal. Alright, and that's the timepiece. So that end part is kind of just movement and waiting for the mafia guy to get scared, collecting his pawns, etc. So, one more, or 2 more for Mafia Town for now. We're going to come back here later, once we get the pawns. So first is going to be Barrel Battle. First use of the brewer hat will be to open this box to get the yarn. That's why, if you notice, this is Act 2, and She Came From Outer Space is Act 3. doing a little out of order, but Brewer just makes this a lot better. Alright, and now we sit here for a minute. You're supposed to avoid these barrels and stuff, but if you stand right here, there's no problem.
Do not think about avoiding barrels.
So,
See if girl can handle this barrel.
alright.
Heads up, little
Yeah,
punk.
like I said, there's nothing to do here. Until the last barrel breaks, which should be this one right now. Some more text to mash through, and the last Mafia guy. One more. Alright, so there's going to be a little cutscene here. Don't really need it, so we can just go back to hub. Be doing that a couple more times throughout some other levels, just going back to hub at the end of them if there's nothing further needed. So the last level we're going to do in Mafia Town is Down with the Mafia. Really straightforward at the beginning, and then there's a long boss fight. Alright, so that's Mustache Girl. She's our friend for now. I really don't get to see much of her with the cutscenes being skipped and all, so could mention it there. So you're basically teaming up against the Mafia boss. Gonna grab this. Needed for this little section here. Get the key. So gonna pick up one yarn here. Missed that. Alright, one more yarn over here. Cool. So I'm gonna try and set this up. Kinda hard. There we go. Okay. We'll get there. It'll be worth it. There we go. So if I do this right, there's a fight and a cutscene here, and we skip both of them, and just go right to the Mafia boss. So again, if you watched this run last year, there was a quick kill. That partially exists in some form, but it's really difficult and requires a different route, so I'm not going to be doing it here. So we're going to have to go through the whole fight. Which sucks because it's kind of long, but that's alright. It's got good music.
Supercharge!
You can stand right behind him when he's doing this spin attack too. So now he's going to get angry, start doing some other moves. Hoping for as few sandbags as possible. We already got one. That would be enough. Maybe one more. Yeah, so one more here, and then we'll move on to the next phase. One more. That sucks. These sandbags moves are just RNG. Alright, so now he's next phase, gonna go into the Mafia Ball section, which I'll try and climb the ball.
Mafia Ball!
Like so. Oh, almost. The physics on that are really weird. It's really slippery. Alright, so about 3 more hits till it's out.
Ultra
Gonna do another electric attack, which again we can just stand right behind it.
Mega charge!
Might do another Mafia ball. Nope. Alright, 1 more hit.
Ultra charge! Mega charge!
Alright, and that's the fight. So of course that is longer than doing the quick kill, but it's not that much longer. And again, like in Barrel, Neo cutscene, just go back to hub. So now we're done with Mafia Town for now at least. I'm gonna move on into Battle of the Birds, which is another chapter. Really not going to be doing too much here. The route's been changed significantly to avoid having to do a lot of timepieces in this chapter, just because they're all really long. So we're just going to do 2, and get 4 yarn in there total. Did not get enough height there. So the gist of this is if you get caught, like by being within the sight lines, you basically take damage and get sent back as if you got hit, or as if you fell off. So just trying to avoid the sight lines of all the animals here. Also not hitting them, because that'll set them off immediately. Gonna do a little bit of a skip here, where I just jump off and dive into the trigger. Gonna grab another yarn here. Alright, didn't get caught there. That penguin's really sensitive. Alright. I'm gonna actually wait for this one. Just because that one likes to catch you. Okay. And that's the whole level. Not too long. The rest of this is just cutscenes. Kinda gonna jump a bit to move into the next cutscene faster. I switched to keyboard mouse there just to get to the done button a little faster. I can activate the telescope. Alright, so next one's Picture Perfect. It's a really short timepiece and it has fantastic music, so enjoy.
Oh, hi there. Thanks.
Always really get stuck on this one. This wall jump is surprisingly difficult. There's like an invisible wall you can get caught on. Other than that, there's really not too much to this level. That was like the only kind of important jump to make. There's these endorsements from DJ Groups that give you more fans. The goal of this is to get as many fans as possible, of course. more endorsement. We gotta save this puppy. That's it. Okay, so now we're done with Battle of the Birds. Like I said, only 2 timepieces. They're both somewhat short. Gonna move on to the first time rift. So these time rifts are really just platforming challenges. Kind of akin to Super Mario Sunshine's Floodless levels. They kind of have the same feel to them. So first one's gonna be Gallery. I'm gonna go for a skip here that I've been kind of missing, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is get enough height on that wall, and then jump off to activate the checkpoint. Then I'll fall and then go to the checkpoint, but the height needed is kind of a lot. That should be good, yeah. So doing that first try, of course, saves time, but still good to do. I'm just gonna fall off everything here. So with the rifts, normally you have a lottery or like a roulette at the end where you can get new hats and stuff. You can just exit the hub, so you don't really have to worry about that. Which does mean you don't get any new hats in the run, but you save time overall, so it's worth it. I'm gonna hit Roomba here. Collect the yarn. So now we're gonna open up a SUBCON forest. Alright, so in this I'm gonna go for a skip that I don't fully understand how exactly it works yet, so we'll kinda try and get through it. The intent of it is to skip the I completely missed that. So what I meant to do was do the boob emote, and that would just knock me out of the bag and make me invisible. So I could run to the end, move through the next part, and potentially skip this long cutscene here. But I've been having trouble with it and not actually skipping the cutscene, so really only the time lost is for the movement to the next part, so nothing too significant. It's just interesting because you completely become invisible. But the emote wheel is kind of finicky on where your stick is to do which one. Alright, so moving on. This movement is actually a bit faster than if I was invisible, because when you're invisible, you can only sprint and sprint jump. You can't dive. So, makes it a little different. So these cherries are bombs. You put these like fire spirits in them, and then they become charged. You can throw them. Gonna throw that painting a bit further just to get this cutscene. It's just Snatcher saying you gotta throw these paintings into the fire.
Come with me. One with the fire.
Alright, gonna craft the ice hat here. That's gonna be used later. This is also something new for the route. It's needed to access the final area I'll be in the game. And also do some stuff there. So moving into SUBCON well, this is somewhat difficult platforming-wise. There's just a lot of stuff that's going to be happening. So first we need to throw some more paintings into fire. Then collect a bunch of yarn, then enter the well, and then get the hook shot.
I'll borrow you real quick.
This purple goop, if you're in it too long, some hands start to come up and they pull you down, which is annoying. You also lose your movement speed a lot. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna get caught here. You can kind of evade it. Alright, so gonna get 4 yarn here. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Gonna do a bit of a skip here, just to dive up to the top of the well and enter it. Don't really know how that works. It's kind of just some collision with the angles of the trees. And it saves about 4 seconds than doing the other way. So gonna get the hook shot here. Use that to get 1 more yarn, hit the button. Gonna jump off the button so I can be on the ground. Saves a really little bit of time. Alright. So gonna try and do some skips here. Yeah. The movement there is really tricky. The intent was to wall jump and then grab the hook shot, but I've been having trouble snapping onto it, so that's fine. So what I'm gonna do here is switch back to keyboard, hold forward and mash dive. What that's gonna do is when I spawn into this next cutscene, I will be in the pause menu but have control of the character. So I can go back to hub. Once the timepiece number goes up, that's super important. If it doesn't, I would need to go through that whole thing again. And I'm not sure if it would even count, so it's very important to wait there. Alright, so next is the Manor. Very easy level. One of the longest casually, but there's a really big shortcut that you probably know about. But we'll get to that. So first I need to go into the Snatcher cutscene to get the contract for a mail delivery service, which is going to be the next timepiece that I get. So this next part's going to be a lot of platforming, a lot of, I don't really want to do this, so I'm just going to skip it. You're supposed to make your way over these ice blocks by blowing them up with cherries and stuff, but that's a lot of effort, so we'll just jump over all of them. And that's that. Best form of movement here is just dive boosting. There's really not much else you can do. It's a really long open area. Alright, now we're in the manor. So in the manor, I can't dive, I can only jump. I also can't sprint. So basically just gonna jump this end, jump into the little cutscene here, grab the 1 yarn, and that's the whole level. Fortunately missed, you can jump over that trigger, but missed that. It's really short, so it's not that bad. So I'm gonna climb up on this chandelier to get the relic. What that does is it spawns Cooking Cat. Normally I would have gotten that relic elsewhere, but because the route different, I need to get it now. So I got the relic, that'll spawn Cooking Cat, we'll go talk to her later. And that's important to unlock another level later on. Alright, so next we're going to do mail delivery service, which is going to be all on keyboard mouse, just because of fine movement and faster movement. So we're going to get the scooter to run. Let's just throw mail. I missed that one. Kinda gotta be precise on these throws. I'm gonna set up for a double here. That might not be good. Yeah, I missed that. That's okay. There's a backup. So just gonna roll through this area. Grab that one. That one. This guy through the trees. Alright. So if I can get the timepiece, which definitely looks so. Or not, okay. The intent was to get the timepiece and have the contract up at the same time so I can go back to hub, but it's not really a big deal if I don't. Alright, and that's it for the main levels. Next we're going to do 2 rifts and be done. Basically, I've run out of contracts that have been signed. There's more that you can get, obviously. There's more levels here, but they're all slow. So first rift is pipe. This one's going to require using the hookshot a lot. So if I can get through this fast enough, I can catch a little bit of a cycle here. Pretty generous. Still have to wait down here though. Alright, that's not good. Missed the dive boosts. Whatever. Come on. Falling platforms do in fact fall. Alright. So one more rift here, then we go back to Mafia Town. Gonna get 1 yarn on the way here. Alright, so get that one yarn, and kind of just run towards the, where the rift is. There is a snatcher cutscene there, so just avoid that. Okay. Alright. So this rift involves the bells that I've kind of mostly been avoiding. What they do is they activate these invisible blocks. They function the same as a hat that I'll be getting later, but I don't have it yet, so... Alright. So there's one jump here that is kind of tricky. See if I can get it first try. Looks good. So that obviously skips the whole roundabout section that you can see there. It just requires 2 full jumps. That's kind of difficult, but not too bad. Alright, so now I'm going to talk to Cooking Cat. What that does is gets us another relic. But first, I need to turn off auto-skippable cutscenes because there's actually a soft lock if you have it on. You'll just get stuck right here for some reason. I think it's patched in the newest version. Now we get to assemble a burger. And what this does is unlocks the Mafia of Cooks rift, which I'll be doing in a little bit. Already got Roomby. Alright. So first is Golden Vault. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the run, you cannot duplicate tickets, so we're going to have to go all the way around, get all 4 of the golden tickets, which is fine because that lets us get some yarn. So it's a good deal overall. Alright, 2. Those 2 are really close together, and then the last 2 are super far apart. Gonna grab a yarn here. Gonna miss that. Alright. 1 more yarn down here. Alright, now we can start moving back to the top, because that's all 4. Gonna use this ice hat platform just to send me all the way back to the beginning really quickly. Alright, and that's Golden Vault. Not as quick as it used to be, but still really fast. So we're going to go back into Golden Vault for a time rift. This one is fairly quick as well. All the time rifts are really fast. There's a couple that are long, but they're kind of just like hidden, except for the special time rifts like Mafia of Cooks that I'll be doing later. The purple rifts are longer because they're a different type. But these platformer ones are really fast. Alright, good. That jump's a little tricky sometimes. That's the whole rift. Alright, so back to longer level, heating up Mafia Town. The gist of this is to turn off the faucets that are spewing lava into Mafia Town, because why not have them there? There's 6 overall. And they're all on a really good route, so should go pretty cool. So you only gotta hit him twice. You gotta space out the hits a little bit. Gonna take damage here. Or not. Okay. I do not have an explanation as to why I just sat in lava and did not get hurt. Anyways. Gonna damage boost over to this one. Actually getting hurt now. That might not be good. Okay. Bringing up the emote menu kind of makes you lose your momentum. So gonna die there just to get back to the top. Now for this part, I'm gonna be not touching the floor anywhere. So I don't... So I'll be doing a little trick afterwards that makes use of that. So I didn't touch any of the ground that I could safely respawn on, basically. So that's called a stuck warp. If you get stuck, you warp. And because you warp to the last place that you were at, I don't really like this. I need to do it again here, but I only have 1 health, so I might just take the slower route and not die. Yeah, I think that's what I'll have to do, unfortunately. So the intent was to do another stuck warp there and then finish, but because I took damage, not doable. Alright, that's okay though. It's not too far. Alright. One more conventional rift for Mafia Town. Gonna enter it through a barrel battle, because it's basically right there. When you're sprinting, as long as you don't jump beforehand, you can sprint off the ledge and jump whenever you feel like. So that's what I did there. And this is probably the easiest rift in the game. It's very, very straightforward. There's no gimmicks, really. Just get to the end. That being said, I'll try not to mess it up. Did not mess it up. That's good. Alright, so next we have the Mafia of Cook's Rift that I unlocked with the relic earlier. Also, I am at the correct number of yarn for the next hat, which is nice. I need to be at 11 right now, because I'll get one more in the next timepiece. Because the Dweller hat requires 12. Alright, so I entered down with the Mafia. Gonna turn right, jump off. Enter the timepiece, or enter the rift, rather. And start this rift. So in this rift, the objective is to collect these, like, crown pawns. I don't really know what they're called. These little collectibles. And move on. There's a couple levels for that. They're all really quick. And each level requires a different amount of pawns required. So that one needs 4. This one is a freebie. A little bit of a break. This one's kind of cycle-based, but it's extremely easy to get the cycle. Just getting that one. And this next one. Really easy. Alright, that's all 5 there. 5 more on this one, and the last one. These Mafia guys are throwing cans. They sometimes are really annoying, but usually not too bad. Alright, and now for the timepiece. If I can hit it. So this needs 4 hits, and then it's going to explode into a bitrate mess. And that's the rift. So now for possibly one of the hardest timepieces in the whole run. Cheating the race. I was gonna say we don't have a key item because we need the time stop hat, which obviously I don't have. That's 24 more yarn that I don't really want to get. But it is possible to still win the race without that. It's just pretty difficult. So first I'm gonna grab this yarn. Talk to the Mafia boss. Make the yarn. Make the hat. Alright. So, with some fancy dive boosts and some momentum shenanigans, we can just barely beat the Mafia guy. There it is. Obviously getting that first try is good. That's pretty difficult. You do have enough leeway to make mistakes, but not too much where you can just straight up sprint to the end. Alright, so now we are done with pretty much the game, really. There's one more world gonna go in. And one more rift. Gonna switch to Dweller, that's what this is needed for. So this rift has the potential to be really annoying, but hopefully won't be. These birds are really obnoxious. They home in on you and then try and knock you off. Come on. This jump is also kind of annoying. For the first one, you can't grab the ledge for some reason. Alright. Got out of there mostly unscathed. Alright, so now we can enter the Metro. So the Metro is the chapter added with the newest DLC. And we're going to get 5 timepieces in it because they're all really fast. And it saves a significant amount of time over the previous route. So I do need the ice hat to get in here. And there's also going to be one timepiece that requires the ice hat. So Metro is basically a free roam area, but you get sent back to the same point after getting each timepiece, which makes collecting them a lot easier. Because there's kind of just like one standardized movement. It also takes a long time to load for some reason. Probably because it's loading so much at once, it's a really big level. There's 10 timepieces overall in it. Only gonna get 5 because that's what we need. So these trains are being pulled by cats, because of course they are. These vacuums are also cats. Gotta fall in the mud to get this vacuum. Just to get up that a lot faster. And we're at the end of main station.
Make sure you buy the right ticket.
So the main gimmick of this level is there's tickets that you can purchase with pawns to unlock different sections of the map. We don't actually have to do any of that just because you can skip them enough. So I'm going to do that here. Skipping needing the yellow ticket.
Seen that little kid running around?
And jump on a bowl of ramen. Do some skips. And hole in one.
I think I ate too much.
Alright, so I'm gonna try to do a triple jump here. Kind of hard. Give it a couple tries. Basically gonna be jumping off the crate and then being able to jump again, but there we go. That's really difficult. Timing on that is always really odd. Sometimes you get it first try, sometimes it takes a minute to do. But that was the hardest one out of these overall, hopefully. We're also getting paid after getting each timepiece because we're a member of the Yakuza pretty much. You know, as you do. I missed that. I actually had too much speed going into that jump, so it made the dive a bit more difficult. Same jump as before. Come on. I can get on this. So I gotta wait.
Bye-bye.
It's not what I meant to do. So this takes advantage of the fact that you can double jump after wall jumping, as long as you don't wall jump, as long as you don't double jump before. Also, jumping on the last train car is really scary because you can fall through it really easily. So the next two timepieces are going to have the same movement, to start them at least. So I'm going to go for a jump here. What I did there is called a sprint double jump. If you let go of sprint right before you do a jump, you can keep the momentum from your sprint and then do a regular double jump. Doing that lets me clear that gap and get on the train. Gonna have to do it again. this vacuum is not cooperating. So I'm just gonna wait, because if I jumped I would probably get clipped into the train. Didn't get the sprint double jump there, just a regular one. And it's extremely hard to make it with a regular double jump. This jump is pretty difficult. There we go. So I'm gonna jump off to this side. So doing this allows us to skip the pink station ticket. And that's all the timepieces. I do not know why that was like 2 FPS menuing. But anyways, going to play as Mustache Girl now, who's going to basically raid our spaceship. And bitrate. The ending of this game is very taxing on the video bitrate. Especially the finale. But done with that. And we can move towards the finale. Can't actually act out of that, so I do have to wait a cycle. Oops. So even though I do have the ice hat, it's just faster to jump into that button anyways. Doesn't hurt. Alright, so now we're gonna start finale. And it's a long timepiece. It's the end of the game. Big boss fight. Bunch of movement, so let's hope everything goes well. First part's just gonna be going up this section. Really not much to it. Alright. So again, I do have the ice hat, but it is just easier to damage boost here. Barely got that. This part's probably the hardest because there's a really big time between checkpoints, so if I miss this like later on, I'll have to go all the way back and do this part again, so hope I don't. That's fine. That's also fine. Can skip this fight really easily. No technical moves required. That's literally just a regular double jump. Alright, now we're nearing the end. Alright, and that's the movement for finale. So now we have the Mustache Girl fight. So I'm gonna try for multi-hits here. It's really just RNG if I get him or not. Alright. So phase 2. Just to avoid stuff here. So I will mention now that Mustache Girl has a beam charge attack. For some reason, if I'm charging a brewer bomb during it, I take damage. So if I randomly take damage, that's why. So like here, even then, it doesn't even, I wasn't even charging anything there. It kind of just happens. The beam attack is a little bugged, it seems. Which, so what I did there is use the brewer to hit her early to start this phase a little bit faster. So I'm going to brewer, Mafia Ball, repeat. Or at least try to. And that's that phase. Next phase, she's going to go into a shield. And obviously I can't hit her through it, so I gotta wait for these cherry bombs to start coming out. And it is also RNG how many times Mustache Girl is going to go into the shield. Ideally, I only want to use one cherry, but you can use up to 4. That's already 2. I'm also going to be going for double hits, where sometimes you can use a brewer bomb and then get a homing attack like that. Alright, so this is going to be a 3 cherry, it looks like, which is pretty okay. That's about average. Come on. There we go. Alright, so now we're going to start the last phase. Last phase is the easiest, technically, because you pretty much cannot die. You need to try really hard to die in this section. And you gotta hit her 8 times. Gonna be going for multi-hits. And we'll see if I can get that. Is this a really long cutscene, though? But yeah, because everyone's kind of just sacrificing themselves, we get constantly healed. So 1. 2. 4. 5. 7. Done. And time is on when I grab the big ball of timepieces. This was a good run. This is a PB by like 3 minutes. And time. So yeah, that's Hat in Time. It's a really fun game. There's a lot of different strats that you can do for